Live.
There we go. Awesome. Whew. Very, very exciting day. Good afternoon, guys. This is Spirits Guy coming to you live. Wachusett Wine and Spirits, West Boston. Wow. So excited. I'm tripping over my own tongue. Corey back in the house.
What's going on, guys?
Some bodies back out front. Today is the big day. We are getting to do a barrel pick of Yellowstone. Very, very excited. Full disclosure, I mentioned it yesterday. I actually tasted through these yesterday, but like the writer Fred Minnick says, he never really puts his stamp on a whiskey until he's tasted it 3 times. So I'm curious to see if we come to the same conclusion today. There's no dogs in this bunch, I promise you. All 3 of these whiskeys are...
I'm excited.
Outrageous. So for anybody who doesn't fully understand what this all means, when you buy this bottle of Yellowstone, it's a blend of a bunch of different barrels, typically 4-year and 7-year barrels that are all kind of combined together, blended to create a signature flavor profile. But each one of those barrels has its own unique flavor, and every barrel will mature differently. So not only is a single barrel a chance to get a unique drinking experience, because we're getting to pick our own single barrel, this is going to become exclusive to our store. And when you get your hands on it, you got to get it while you can, because it's only here while it's here, and when it's gone, we can't get any more. Hey Peter, thanks for being there. Yeah, it's a once-in-a-lifetime kind of opportunity. This is why store picks are so exciting and so very cool. A little bit about Yellowstone. Yellowstone comes out of a distillery called Limestone Branch. They basically make 2 products right now. They make Yellowstone and they make Minor Case Rye. We'll kind of circle back around to this. We'll probably taste this in the end. Minor Case is from Minor Case Beam, who's part of the Beam family tree.
That's his name?
Yeah, his name was Minor Case.
That's
Beam.
sweet. That's sweet.
Yeah, so he goes all the way back to like a nephew of the original Jim Beam from the late 1800s. We'll come back around to this. Why am I so excited about Yellowstone? One, like I said, I've already tasted through these. Hey, Tracy, glad you were there. Tracy, while I have you here, really quickly, question. Why is there no merch? I'm trying to buy myself a Yellowstone or a Rebel Yell t-shirt just so I can wear promote. Do you guys have merch? Or will you be having merch sometime soon? Also, Corey and I are coming down to visit in October. We'll talk about that later on. So yeah, part of why we love bourbon is it tells a story. It tells the story of America. And this is actually a really important brand going all the way back to 1872. Started by a guy named JW Dant, whose father was actually JB Dant. His father was JW Dant, yep. Which there's a fantastic bottled and bond whiskey that's not available here in Mass anymore. But it was started by him, and that family bloodline, the Dant family bloodline, runs all the way through to now. By 1920, the brand is going in full swing. Prohibition hits. They licensed the brand name out to Brown-Forman, who's Old Forester, Jack Daniels, Woodford Reserve, and a bunch of other things now. So Yellowstone was actually sold during Prohibition as medicinal whiskey.
Okay.
Pretty cool. You could get a prescription for Yellowstone.
That's wild.
By the 1960s, Yellowstone is the #1 selling bourbon in the state of Kentucky. Never knew that. Would have never thought that. Yeah. But it's the biggest selling brand in Kentucky. 70s, 80s, not exactly kind to the whole bourbon world in general. It becomes the vodka generation. Bourbon is what old people drank, and the younger kids kind of got off of it. There's a company which basically merged with Guinness and is now Diageo, but they bought the brand. They kind of scrapped it, sold it off. Sold it to Heaven Hill, who in turn sold it over to Luxco. And that's where it kind of sat. And then Stephen Beam and his brother, descendants of the Beam family, create Limestone Distillery. They partner up with Luxco in 2015 to bring this back to prominence. They're making their own juice. They're buying a little bit of juice. They're kind of blending it together. And that kind of brings us to where we're at today. Yellowstone is their flagship bourbon. Like I said, they also do minor case rye. And once a year, we got to try some last year, they do the higher proof, barrel finished Yellowstone Select.
Yeah.
So last year was the Armagnac finish.
So good.
It was fantastic. I forget what it was the year before that, but I do remember it was pretty amazing as well. So Yellowstone, cool brand, deep, rich history. And so the Beam brothers who started Limestone, their mother is part of the Dant family. Their father is part of the Beam family.
Okay.
So it's kind of the marriage of two of the more important names in all of whiskey in this country. We'll kind of swap these out. I've already poured these off. I wanted to let them breathe a little bit, but this is how it happens. This is how we go through the selection. I get this box in the mail sent to me by Tracy down in, I don't know if Tracy's in St. Louis or Kentucky. Inside, there's these little cards that tell me how to proof it down, how much water to add. Yeah, I do think it was sherry finished before. Inside the box, there's this cool little card, some notes, and then these awesome sample bottles, which are incredibly descriptive, a lot of fun. Each one of these bottles, as you can see, shows the date that it was barreled. So these were all barreled March 31st, 2016. It actually has the barrel number, the proof point, in our store as well. I'm assuming by the time these were pulled, we're talking about 4.5-year-old bourbon. I don't imagine they pulled them at the beginning of the month, but if they did, even better. And then what we did is we have 3 barrel proof samples and then the 3 that are proofed down. And this is the process we go through, much like Rebel. So we're going to start with the barrel proof, starting at the lowest proof, work our way up, drink some water, and then taste them proof down. So this one here, by the way, it's also worth mentioning, part of the proceeds from the sales of Yellowstone get donated to, and I have it here, the National Park Conservation Association, independent, non-political association. What they do is they nurture our national parks. Yellowstone was actually named after the country's first national park.
Yeah, I was just reading that after.
So, yeah, hence the waterfall on there as well. So we are at 124.6. And if my reaction is the same way it was the other day, I'm going to have another question. And my question is, I know we can't, but man, if I could get that just bottled at barrel proof.
That is so good. Wow.
It's at barrel proof. This thing is spot on. Caramel, vanilla, citrus. It's coating the back of my tongue.
That is fantastic.
Yeah.
Wow.
I didn't want to proof that down. I absolutely love that. So yeah, now we'll go up the scale. And I actually proofed these down. Another brand from another barrel, but this is actually Kentucky Limestone Water. My kit came with this cool little dropper, so we could actually measure out the proper amount of drops. 7 people watching. Moving up in price point, proof point. Yeah. A little drier, and I think that has to do with the higher alcohol. Because we're at 126.7. And honestly, for 126.7, I'm not getting any heat.
No, I'm getting spice, big spice, but I'm not getting any heat.
Yeah, I definitely get more spice and maybe a little sort of nuttiness.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, I agree.
but no heat. And again, like we talk about all the time, like sometimes the burn you get is not really from the alcohol content. It's just the way the whiskey is made. And you can tell that these are well-made whiskeys when the alcohol just doesn't tear you up on the inside.
And like you were saying yesterday, it's good for that because you want to be reminded that you're still drinking whiskey.
All right, now this is the highest proof point at 128. Just so you guys know, there's very, very little in these glasses.
Yes.
Probably about a half a milliliter. Thank you, Tracy, for being there. I'll shoot you an email tomorrow, let you know which barrel number we pick. Yeah, we'll talk then. Thank you so much for everything you have done. It's awesome. Super appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you. That one is like, this. I feel like it's sweet, even though it's a higher point proof. I mean,
yeah,
proof point. That is sweet. That's awesome.
Yeah, like I said, there's no weak ones.
Yeah.
I mean, if we could bottle all three of these,
yeah,
I would be happy with all of them. Thoughts after tasting them barrel proof? You got a favorite out of the three?
That one.
Yeah?
Highest proof? Yeah. I think it's in between these two. The lowest proof and the highest proof. I'm curious to see how it changes up when the hits the water.
So,
what's your favorite?
When we did them,
okay.
My favorite after the barrel proof was the first one.
It's very close between those two.
Which is where it was
when we first
tasted them.
Yep.
I'm not going to tell you where I ended up yet, but I will say that as we tasted through them, well, you'll see.
Okay.
All right. So now we're back to number one, 124.6. We've added around 0.7 milliliters of water to proof it down to that 93 proof point. Also worth noting, the mash bill, 75 corn, 13 rye, 12 barley.
Okay.
That is the Jim Beam signature mash bill.
Okay.
It's the same mash bill they use at Jim Beam for their whiskey. It's got to be some sort of family thing.
Yeah.
I just
maybe the numbers have significance.
Yeah,
something.
I just finished reading a book about a Hirsch whiskey that kind of started the whole Hirsch brand.
Yeah.
And it was made by a guy named Everett Beam, and that was the exact mash bill he used to make that whiskey.
It's got to have some meaning.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's their recipe. All right. So first one out.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Oh my god. But you were telling me, what was it, 2 days ago or whatever, with that.
It's just rich, creamy.
Oh my goodness.
I get little notes on the nose of like sandalwood, like a spice almost. But the caramel,
that's what I'm getting.
thickness of it. This is rich, creamy, heavy.
That's what we're looking for.
Yeah, this is definitely the palate that we go for.
The coating it leaves inside your mouth after. It's still sitting there.
Yeah. It's like drinking whiskey flavored caramel. It's just right there.
Okay, well.
Going up the line in proof point. So this is our 126.7. We've added about 0.7 milliliters of water. Just to be fully honest, I wanted to use as least in the sample as possible. So we got some left over to drink after.
Perfect.
I'm getting a little bit more citrus on the nose of this one. A little less of that sort of sandalwood spice.
What?
So, I don't know if you guys can see, but it looks like an excess amount of paint that's been put on a wall that's just running down the wall. And yeah, same thing I kind of realized the other day. When I took the sip of the second one, I turned around, I looked at Mike and Charlie, and I went, this just got hard.
Yeah, the water drastically changes it.
Yeah. It's also fun to see how the water...
Yeah, I mean, that is wild to me. That is... You talk about caramel?
Yeah.
Yeah. I thought that one had a big caramel. That one, holy. But you're still getting whiskey out of it, you know? It's not so sweet that you're like... Wow, that is... Yes, you're right. Now it's getting hard.
I will do that, Peter. And by the way, the least favorite sample is still a favorite sample.
Yeah. I don't think they're going to go to waste.
No. But I will definitely get you some there, without a doubt. So here's what I get. Actually, I'm going to say it because...
That one I feel like has less caramel, more spice to it, but it's still there. That is, I mean, what are we doing?
So,
Oh my.
full disclosure, this is the one we picked the other day.
That is amazing.
And it's literally a coin. There's nothing disappointing. Here's the description. This is what I get out of it. Cinnamon roll. Like, I get the breadiness and the cinnamon sugar spice of a cinnamon roll with vanilla frosting over the top of it, drizzled with a little bit of chocolate syrup with a hint of cherry to cap it off.
That's the one I would have went with too.
There's so much going on here.
With that one.
Yeah.
But this one is a little, I think, it's caramel, but I think it's a little too much almost on the sweet side.
Yeah, definitely that cinnamon spice in there.
This is, I see what you're saying about the cinnamon spice, that little cherry.
A breadiness to it. Yeah, it's just, there's so much going on. Yeah. That is a cinnamon.
Yeah.
It's cinnamon right there.
That is unreal. Wow.
So yeah. And honestly, like, I thought after the first round, like, thinking like this is gonna get more water. It's gonna kind of dilute this one. Actually, no, this one was gonna get more water because it was the higher proof point. Yeah. So it was gonna take more water to get that down to 93. I thought it would dilute it out. And actually, it just opened it up.
Yeah, I agree with that. I feel like this has the most depth and flavor profile.
Yeah, it's yeah, that is our winner. I'm gonna forward this over to Tracy. We're starting at 128. We're coming down to 93. Man,
that was a tough one. I think that one was way harder than the Rebel.
Oh yeah, way
harder.
harder because it just each one you tasted, you're just like, geez, that's better than.
Yeah, and it's I feel like they were all drastically different in flavor.
Right. Yeah, without a doubt. That shows the beauty of single barrel.
Yeah, it really does.
I know I am probably going to pick up a whole 6-pack for myself when this comes in. Just because, again, once it's gone, it's gone. And you're never going to be able to get this back, but I know Jay, Peter, guys like Mike, like, if you've liked our barrel picks in the past, you are gonna love
get
this.
ready for this one.
This is, it's just outrageously good. So there it is. That's kind of the process we go through when we're picking a single barrel.
Goodness gracious.
It hits everything that we're looking for. I couldn't be more excited about this. I can't wait for this one to get here. And I'm so excited to share this with you guys and put this out for you guys. Because I think if you like good whiskey, and like you said, it still lets you know you're drinking whiskey.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like there's some spice there. There's a little bit of heat. But there's so much going on, and it all works together. Yeah. I will make sure there's plenty put aside for you. I promise. Hopefully by then we can kind of all hang out and crack a bottle and
enjoy it together.
Enjoy it together, without a doubt. I can't wait for you guys to get to taste this. This is pretty special stuff. As a bonus, to show some love for our friends at Luxco and Luxrow and Limestone Distillery, yeah, good call.
Get the full effect here.
So this is it's one of the few real barrel finished whiskeys that we have. And I know you haven't tasted this, and
no.
I haven't had it in a while. Let that breathe for a second.
So what do you mean by barrel finished?
So they make the rye.
Okay.
And then they dump it. And what they do is they take the dump, and then they put it into a used sherry barrel.
Okay.
So it's going to pick up some of that sweetness and some of that nuttiness from the sherry. Kind of like that Thomas More that we tasted in the Chardonnay barrel.
Okay. Yep.
Definitely not as extended of an aging process as they do with the Thomas More.
That's so they do this one in sherry.
They do this one in sherry.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's pretty cool for a rye. I feel like that's kind of different.
Yeah, and I feel like other than maybe Angel's Envy, we don't really have another barrel finish rye or many barrel finished bourbons out there in general. I mean, barrel finishing is a big thing in Scotland where they use sherry barrels or port barrels. Not so much in bourbon or rye. I should probably look at how that's on the label. So yeah, it's a straight rye whiskey, which means it's at least 2 years old. So they're probably sourcing it because, again, the distillery's only been around for 4 or 5 years. But sherry cask finished, so it's bottled at the place.
90 proof.
Is that what it is? Yeah, 90 proof. So it's hitting the right spot. And yeah, we'll taste it and then we'll talk about it a little bit more.
Yep.
I had this when it first came in. I haven't had it in a while. But
you can pick up on that sherry pretty quick.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree, Jay. That minor case, and that's kind of why we're opening it. I want to show it some love. For any of you guys out there who like rye, I think this is... Again, we don't talk numbers because there's a spy out there. But it's under $40. So, I don't know, if you're buying Angel's Envy rye that's finished at
give it a shot, man.
$90 or $100, this is a jewel, without a doubt.
You pick up on that sherry a lot.
Yep.
But it's still got that rye presence. That's like a perfect balance, I feel like, of the rye and sherry.
Yeah.
That is awesome.
Yeah, because it's got that nutty, sort of citrusy sweetness from the sherry, which kind of works really well with the spice. And to go through our rating system, is it good? Hell yeah. Is it worth the money? At under $40, absolutely. Does that bottle look good on a bar?
Yes.
Yeah.
I think sick.
That bottle is so cool.
I just think Minor Case is such a sweet name.
Yeah. Yeah, because and they had a tradition of going by their middle name, so he would have been referred to as Case.
Okay.
But yeah, you guys can't. I don't know if you can tell, but that's raised. That's not a label. That's not. It's
Yeah, it's engraved. Yeah.
etched,
On there.
painted. I love that bottle on a home bar. That is fantastic. So I guess we should wrap it from there. So we picked a barrel of Yellowstone.
So excited.
I can't wait for that to get here. Hopefully early May, right around the same time as our Rebel, both from Luxco, which is actually now owned by MGP. Yeah, and stay tuned. Check out our website because there's going to be a full blog. This video not only will live on our Facebook page, but we're now posting them as blogs on the website as well. For you guys on Spirits Guide, I'm going to share that whole thing over to the page as well. And yeah, we'll wrap it up. We'll get back to work and sit and impatiently wait for these bottles to
You're
come
staring
in.
at those bottles for the next 2 months.
And in the meantime, if you like rye, if you like finished whiskey, like, yeah, show this some
Take a
love.
shot, yeah.
And yeah, we'll see you guys. We'll be back on Saturday.
Yep.
To finish out the Elite 8 with probably the toughest matchup.
Evan Williams, Bottled and Bond versus Jim Beam.
Bottled and Bond, yeah.
That's gonna be a tough one.
We'll see you guys then.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Guys.
That is dangerously good.
I really like that.